My name is Martin Rios. I'm the chef and co-owner of Restaurant Martin. I was born in Guadalajara, Mexico. I came to Santa Fe when I was 15 years old. So Santa Fe is kind of my hometown. I went to school here, and this is pretty much my home here. I've traveled a lot, but I always came back to Santa Fe, so I've enjoyed here a lot.
I was born in New York City. My parents moved to Ojai, California when I was 4. 2,400 people. I was lucky to go to this crazy school, Happy Valley School. Aldous Huxley, Krishnamurti, Alan Watts were on the board of this school. It was very formative. When it came time for the 9th grade, I told my parents I'd run away if I couldn't go to public school, so I became a bad boy at Nordhoff High School. I was going to be the greatest hot rod builder. That was my goal from the age of 13. At 18, I went to Europe for a year. I went to New York first. I went to all the museums in New York for 2 weeks. And then I sailed to Europe on an Italian line ship. I spent a year in Europe, and I went, oh, being the greatest car builder, that's going to be an artist. So I embarked on this career as an artist, and I've spent the last, since 1962, being an artist, and I've come back and I've started building hot rods and racing hot rods. And Del Maguey, you know, I grew up in this little town, and the coolest people were there before gringos were there. And that's who I hung out with. Rachel Tuma, my first girlfriend, her father was the last Chumash medicine man. Manny Signs, Benji Barraza, Marilyn Barraza, all these cool people that were, you know, Mexica, mixed people, that were all there before gringos, were the people I identified with. And through high school and after, I would race, I'd race cars in Baja California and motorcycles, and you know, I just fell in love with Mexican culture. And in 1970, I drove from LA to Panama to see if the Pan American Highway existed. And I found Oaxaca, and we did a weaving project in a small village and changed the life of the village and changed my life. So I found the ritual use of mezcal, and I had to make sure that me and my friends had some. And as long as we're there, this is not water. I hope you drink. Because
Oh man!
I brought back, I told Chef Olea that I was there at his place a couple Friday nights ago, and I told him I'd bring him back what I'm calling liquid mole. This is Mescal de Puebla.
Wow.
We just have gotten denomination of origin for the state of Puebla, and this is made in a remote village, San Pedro Amayaltepec, and I'm sorry, but it's pechuga. It's got a chicken breast in it, and all the spices and all the fruits that go into the moles of Puebla. And if you can't taste liquid mole in here, I know you guys can. I know your chefs can.
Ron, before we enjoy these mezcals, I think it would be nice if you do the ceremony.
I'll have to do that.
Yes.
So in Oaxaca, any ceremony begins with the judge, I guess that's me, pouring a few drops on the floor for Mother Earth and our ancestors, and we say, Stijibeu, Stijibeu. It means to your health, to the health of your friends, the life of the planet, and with gratitude to the gods that brought us the maguey. Cheers. Is Does it smell like
CGB.
mole?
And it's not as, it's very smooth.
It's 98 proof. It's 49%.
Right.
Way high.
But it's
How many
usually,
destinations?
you know, this is just very smooth.
2 or triple distill?
No, normally Pachuca is triple distilled.
Yes.
But this one is from Puebla, and they have a different still. It's called a resake.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's a copper pot buried in adobe with a copper sombrero, but around the sombrero is a galvanized tub of cold water going in and going out, and there are some plates in the cabeza, in the sombrero.
Right.
And the vapors come up and they get cold and they fall into the plate, and then they continue on over to the serpentine. So it's a continuous, but it's considered double distilled. And normally in Pachuca, the third distillation, you put the mezcal ya hecho and made, and then you put all this fruit, apples, plums, bananas, pineapples, almonds, cinnamon, all in this mezcal that's already made, and you distill a third time, and there's a chicken breast in the air of the still. In this resake, they just pour everything into this ferment that is then double distilled by virtue of it going up and falling down and going up and going out.
And where's the chicken?
It's in the liquid.
You know, when I came to visit you in Oaxaca, the Pachuca is etched in my memory when you took us to that Palenque. It was the best meal I think we had, and the most
Those
amazing.
widow sisters.
Yeah,
The bachelor sisters.
the Bachelor Sisters,
Yeah.
and the little room, the room that's only about as wide as this table with the bare light bulbs and the bottles of Pachuca hanging from the wall were extraordinary. And so, thank you for your history. I didn't know that you went to school with that. I knew you were an old California
Yeah.
hot rod
Yeah.
hippie artist,
Surfer, all that stuff.
surfer.
Everything. I was blessed. I've been
Yeah.
blessed.
That's
And-
great.
I've been blessed.
Del Maguey, just even the packaging and the whole idea of it. I mean, I think the first time I had it was from a plastic bottle from you, and it's how I know you first is from the mezcal.
I had to start.
your art, too.
I
I
had to
think your
start
art.
this mezcal because it's really expensive to buy a ticket, fly to Oaxaca, get a bottle full of mezcal, and fly home with it. It doesn't last very long.
Okay, so I'm Fernando Olea. Nowadays I have a restaurant called Sazon. And basically what I do there, I bring the Mexican cuisine. The Mexican cuisine that have been thing of the past in Mexico, even in Mexico, because what I'm doing, I bring in food that was cooked at home when people have time to cook food. Nowadays everybody go to the supermarket and buy the soups already made, and that's what they feed the poor kids. But we have the fortune to rescue some of that food, and I've been in Santa Fe for 26 years, in which I've been able to serve from hamburgers to tacos to traditional Mexican cuisine, and it's just been great. I started into the Mexican cuisine and into the food industry because a difference of Ron that he loves Mexico. I moved to the States because I love United States. The only thing that I couldn't find in the United States was my Mexican food, and I miss it so much that made me to start cooking and start rescuing recipes from my family, from friends. And it's kind of hard because in Mexico people is so tied to the recipes, don't want to share it with anybody. You know, your mother gives the recipe to the daughter, the favorite daughter, and he's the only one that cooks certain dishes, and that's the way that food moves in Mexico. So I was the fortune to get many members of my family, aunts, cousins, everybody give me recipes, rescue lots of recipes, and through the years I had the opportunity to be involved with the Mexican government. And that really helped me. I traveled to Mexico on different occasions, and one of my trips to Mexico, I discovered these amazing spirits. Being born and raised in Mexico City, I grew with the idea that mezcal was the most disgusting spirit in the world, because I tried some of those mezcals that were produced by Gusano Rojo and Monte Alban, some names like that. Anyways, so when we were teenagers, we used to go to the liquor store, knock at the liquor store, they open a little window. How much money you have? 5 pesos? Okay, you have a mezcal. So, and we drink that mezcal that was, like I told you, I think that kerosene have a better flavor at those times. So, anyways, I was invited to some of these. They invite restaurateurs, chefs of United States from all over the United States, the Mexican government. We have a getting together. They wine and dine us and bring us to Ballet Folklorico, different shows. And one of the nights they bring us to a dinner that the specialty was mezcal tasting. When I hear mezcal tasting, I was shaking just to think what I would have to swallow. So and I was hoping that the time didn't come. The time come, unfortunately. They passed the mezcals, and my eyes opened like you don't imagine. You know, I discovered the most amazing spirit of the world, that is mezcal. And being born and raised and drinking what I thought it was mezcal, you know, for me was a good awakening. But anyways, so like I said, I've been cooking Mexican cuisine for over 25 years. And I do what my ancestors did, and is cook Mexican food with that roots, but at the same time, in my trip, I grabbed food from all over the world, because that's what Mexican cuisine is, and that's what Mexican cuisine is so rich. That fusion, that lately in the past 10 years, we've been listening to lots of chefs doing fusions. Well, that's something so old that it started when the Europeans start traveling to America, and that's where the fusion started, but that's what I do.
Hi, my name is SLLIN Cruz, and I'm original from Michoacan, Mexico. I moved to the United States when I was 13. First place was Oregon. I was really young, I don't remember much of that, honestly. Then I moved to Salt Lake City and I started cooking. So since I started cooking and getting to the kitchens, I realized that that's what I was gonna do. That's what I wanna do for a living, and that's what I love most to do. I mean, I'm executive chef now at Geronimo, and I'm happy doing it. I'm in Santa Fe for 7 years, and I love Santa Fe.
My name is John Rivera Sedlar. I grew up in Santa Fe, New Mexico here. And in my 60 years, I've managed to go 2 blocks. I worked in one restaurant on Old Santa Fe Trail called the Bull Ring. And the Bull Ring was a restaurant that had a very high-end Nouvelle cuisine French menu, and it had a traditional specialties of northern New Mexican menu. And there was a chef there, his name was Jean Frigo. He was French, and his name translates to John Refrigerator. And I apprenticed under him, and I wanted to learn the European side because I already knew the classic dishes of New Mexico. And now I work at a restaurant called Eloisa, which is the name of my grandmother, and we cook the specialties that she made in her kitchen on Alto Street. And it's 2 blocks from where I started at the Bull Ring. So in 60 years, I've come 2 blocks. But yet, cuisine has really taken a big leap, because that first restaurant on Old Santa Fe Trail had 2 different menus. And as Fernando says, because of fusion, everything is blended now. So all the menus that we cook, the whole vocabulary of every kitchen in America is fusion. It's a mixture, it's a mixto. And so those are the kinds of foods we cook now at Eloisa. A little bit of Eloisa's dishes from her own kitchen, where she had a wood stove, and dishes that I've learned in my travels from cooking around the world. And that's what the foods are at Eloisa. So we're in touch with our roots, and yet we look at the world. What are the influences from the world, whether they're Asian, East European, West European. And we have on our menus a dishes that start, we see the all trails lead to Santa Fe. Everything leads here, whether it comes from Europe, whether it comes from the East Coast, from Mexico City, on the Camino Real. Where did it come from before it went to Mexico City? It came from Europe. It even came from North Africa, from the spice markets of North Africa, into the Iberian kitchen, into the Portuguese and the Spanish kitchen across the Atlantic to South America, and then north up into Santa Fe. So our menu also explores, why do we eat these foods that we eat today? Where did they come from? We have a class of children that we teach, and we serve them dishes on big white plates, and we make the children take their face and put it in the plate, and we make them scan the plate from the left side to the right side, from the top to the bottom, and they look and isolate every ingredient. Where is it from? How do I connect with it? Is it Latin? Is it something that I grew up on? So that they can see if there's an identity with the foods that they're eating as Latinos.
Thanks, John.
My name is Angel Estrada, and I grew up in, I was born and raised in Mexico. I moved to the United States when I was 16 years old. I started in the restaurant business because I love to cook. I was inspired by my mother, grandmother. I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 8, so I used to cook for my little brothers and sisters. And I just love cooking. You know, I spent a few years downtown working in a very nice restaurant. Then now I opened my own restaurant. It's called the Midtown Bistro. So, and I try to do a little bit of everything, like he was saying, you know, Spanish, French, whatever comes up, whatever you can please your customers with. So, and I don't have very much to say. Just say that I love cooking, I love Santa Fe, and learn from all these wonderful chefs.